Hello, friends. We are here again with Friday Forum. We keep bringing you different aspects of real estate industry for all the real estate professionals who have been working in the industry or who are aspiring to work in the industry, who have just joined the industry, to look beyond the ordinary, look beyond what is obvious, and that brings you more business. I mean, mostly we see people talking about single family homes, townhomes, like very traditional housing options, as well as very traditional loan options, conventional loans, FHA loans. And most loan originators, professionals, or brokers do not want to talk beyond this. They have just created this comfort zone. And then they don't find enough opportunities or enough business. They're always complaining or they're always wondering where to find business. So today, Kelly and I are going to talk about what are the other options that we should consider? What is behind the curtain? What is behind the obvious that they should look for? Kelly, as you know, has a very vast experience in different aspects of real estate. She's a veteran and she's always here willing to help. So reach out whenever you have a question, you need any help. It doesn't matter if you're doing business with us or not. We're here to help. We want more and better housing options for our clients, for people who are really struggling to find a reasonable, affordable accommodation. So, Kelly, I need your input today and in helping our real estate professionals and our clients who want to look for housing. I want to talk about different options in terms of affordable housing. We see that the most prevalent, because the builders are probably big builders, they influence a lot. So site-built, stick-built housing is the most common housing in urban centers, at least. And then modular housing, we have site-built and modular housing, and then manufactured homes. What is the difference between them in terms of affordability, in terms of marketability? So tell me a little bit about that.
Absolutely, Dr. Khan. The manufactured homes are made with a little bit less quality building material, but they are perfect for affordable housing, and they are built according to HUD's minimum property standards. So they are eligible for all government financing, and they're built safe. They come with warranties just like site built, but they're affordable. You can buy a manufactured home with 2,000 square feet, probably $50,000 to $100,000 less than a site-built home. And there are so many manufactured homes 30, 40, 50 years later, they're still fine. It's a great option to help homeownership.
So I want to mention the interesting fact here that manufactured homes, which are more affordable, it may be a little bit lower in the quality, but many a times with the new technologies and new materials emerging, this difference is very negligible. So I want to mention here that manufactured homes are under federal oversight. They're governed by federal regulations, while modular and stick-built home are under local and state oversight. So, okay, so in terms of affordable housing, what should the professional consider? Where should they look for, and what should they tell their clients?
They need to give them all of the options available. There are townhouses, condos, manufactured homes, modular homes, and site-built homes. Location can affect price, but also the type of house. And Dr. Khan, you are a major proponent of the tiny home community, and that's a great way to buy a small home. Tell me more about your tiny home.
The tiny home, the concept and actually the practice has been in some form or fashion around for a very, very long time. We did not look at very favorably because of mobile homes or trailer parks or those kind of which were considered, most of them are run down for some reason and they were considered lower grade housing. But millennials, these two past generations, millennials and Gen Zers, they have been more practical about all these options. They don't want to continue working endlessly for unaffordable houses, which they end up buying because of lack of inventory, and then they work just to pay their mortgage, and they rarely get to live in those homes. Number one, and number two, the huge houses that many of us want to, and rest of us aspire to buy, we don't use a large space in the house. So the tiny home evolved to a point where millennials and Gen Zers, they want more sustainability, better use of space, innovation that comes in some form or fashion. If you look at the windows in tiny homes, it's mind-boggling difference, traditional homes and tiny homes. The smaller the house, the bigger the windows. Does that not surprise you? And then you use that space very, very efficiently. You see off-grid homes where there is absolutely no, involvement of any government at all, like the public source system or public power systems and all that. They get energy from solar power, and then they have septic tanks, localized systems for that. And many of them even use very localized water supply as well. So tiny homes are, and I'll tell you, this is not like a far-fetched wilderness cabins. I'm talking about cities, urban areas where housing is really extremely scarce and extremely unaffordable. Wherever tiny homes open, Los Angeles, in many urban centers in Texas, in other states, most of them are pre-sold because they're very practical. They're practical, they're sustainable, they're better, more affordable, they're efficient. So I can go on and on and on about the benefits of tiny communities, and they're close-knit communities as well. But I want to bring here, I want to see innovation. I want to see the leaders in the industry, in the brokerage industry, in the construction industry, in the housing and development, community development industry, the work that we do in CPAC and Clinton Company. I want them to take the lead. I want them to, lead the way for the rest of the professionals, to show them how they can make more money, how they can help more customers, how there are more opportunities there. So I want them to talk about that. Now, two things I want to talk next is workforce housing and intergenerational housing. Now, euphemism has been very predominant in our society and culture. We use a lot of that, and we keep changing terminology. As I said, trailer parks and mobile homes, and now some people may think that tiny homes are just a euphemism for those. They're not, as I said earlier. Now, workforce housing, is that like just another name for affordable housing, or another kind of housing, or what is it?
Dr. Khan, workforce housing is a new term to describe middle class, working class, and their ability to obtain affordable housing. And I know that that's a passion of yours, to provide affordable housing, workforce housing. And I know that you have a vision for how to improve our community, and as you have stated, intergenerational, with elder living closer to the younger. Tell me more about that vision that you have, and is there anything coming soon in regard to this?
Well, it's very disturbing and it's very interesting at the same time. As an entrepreneur, every problem is an opportunity. We see that as an opportunity. So workforce housing essentially the concept comes from providing more affordable and better housing for our large workforce. What happened over time, the income distribution got very skewed. Rich got richer, and the middle class started shrinking, which means affordability becomes less. You see more people shopping even for their groceries in bargain stores as compared to upscale stores, and malls and upscale stores have started disappearing. The richest person in the world used to have $40 billion. It was not too long ago. Now the richest person has more than $250 billion. It's like staggering 6 times increase in the wealth. And we're already talking about the first trillionaire in the world. Can you believe this? This is happening in our lifetime. 62 people, the richest 62 people, have more wealth than half of the entire world's population. So with these staggering numbers, our affordability in terms of housing is decreasing. Workforce cannot afford housing anymore. So workforce housing is the concept. It's a combination of all these that you bring, more practical, more like in city of Toronto. Toronto is a big metropolis and it's extremely expensive as well. They're very tall building. The benefit of high-rise buildings is that they use very little space on ground when you go vertical. There are pros and cons of everything. So what happened is in Toronto, there is no more space to build houses, and houses are extremely expensive. So there is a concept evolved over time. It's called backyard housing. Like people who had backyards, they've started building smaller housing for more accommodation. Either they use it as a rental unit or, family members or whatever purpose they use it for. But they've started building there. It's a very practical concept. You have space lying there, unless you are, which is maintaining like a very elaborate landscape or garden there, which is very expensive to maintain. And Toronto's harsh climate doesn't allow. So this is a very practical concept towards increasing affordability and increasing the inventory in terms of housing. So that's one thing. As far as intergenerational housing is concerned, I don't know if it is a design or it is by, just default that the family units have been disintegrating. Our youngsters, as soon as they, start college, graduate from high school, they start thinking, or they already have, thought of moving to an independent house, or whatever they can afford, but outside their family. So the family unit disintegrates. You see the people, empty nesters, we call them, whose kids have moved out because they've grown up. They're not very old. I've seen people in their 40s whose kids have moved out and they're like empty nesters. So they're just living there. So the more people, families have disintegrated and we got busier and we don't have time to meet with our families. I see kids, saving money so they can go and see their parents on Thanksgiving or their moms on Mother's Day. So the intergenerational housing is you bring different generations together and make them live in one space. It doesn't have to be one house, in like one community where they interact with each other by design. For example, there is an educational facility or there is commercial space where they all have to come do different activities and they, coexist with each other. They don't have to save money in the entire year to go to see their parents on Thanksgiving and all that. So intergenerational housing increases family integration. It increases understanding between different generations. And the wealth of experience that our elder generations have accumulated over their lifetime, they can, give it to the younger generations faster and quicker, So intergenerational housing brings that practical aspect. And then elder care and then, long-term elder care facilities and all that. If they are also part of that community, then, it takes care of many other ills or many other challenges that have come into our society over time. So what we are doing is we are incorporating all these concepts together. For example, elders, especially seniors who are living independently, either in ones or in couples, they do not need a large space. Large spaces are difficult to maintain financially as well as logistically as well. Cleaning and keeping space, because air quality and all that, you need to frequently clean it. It becomes difficult. So more compact, modular, practical, but comfortable space that they can afford makes more sense. So tiny home comes into mind. Of course, they cannot, many of them at least cannot use lofts. So you can, do it single story, or some of them who can use lofts, they can also use lofts for that as well. So tiny homes for seniors, the elders, housing, maybe family or multi-unit housing for elders, especially if they have some kind of disability or some, handicapped access housing. And then the youngsters in the same tiny home village revolve around academic center. And we're working on building one here in Caroline County, Virginia. And if anyone is interested, we'll be happy to share the information with them. It is a very unique concept. It has not been tried in its entirety. Parts of it have been done in many different places, but not in entirety. So I want to encourage and actually, pull my fellow real estate professionals out of their comfort zone and want them to think about all these concepts, which are evolving. Some of them have been there and they're changing shapes, but all these options are available. For that, you need to read, you need to talk to other people, you need to listen to other professionals who are doing stuff. If you don't do that, you never learn about that. And if you don't, then you're doing a disservice to your customers because you are not able to tell them, because you can only help them with what you know. So if you don't know enough, you cannot help them, which means if the help translates into the money that you make, your options become lesser and fewer over time. And the market forces, then you become dependent upon market forces. I know many creative professionals who think out of box. They have created these kind of opportunities. There are companies like ours. We do community development, we do construction, housing, and all that, mortgages as well as title. So we do all of that. There are many other companies who do similar work. Professionals who work with these companies, they have to do less work. They rely for more work on these kind of companies, which I call platform companies, because they have everything on one platform, So as a real estate professional who works in a certain area, like, for example, you may work only in mortgage or only in brokerage or only in construction or renovations or auctions or any one area, you can get the rest of the services or rest of the help from that platform company or company that performs different services, because they work with many different professionals. They have them either on board or they are very well connected with them. So I invite and encourage my fellow real estate professionals to look into those options, talk to other friends, read, share the reading. I mean, every day we share so many messages with friends, which a lot of jokes and memes and, entertaining stuff. And some of us do the informational stuff as well, which is actually helpful. So anything that comes in the industry, updates, innovations, opportunities, share it with your fellow professionals along these lines. Think out of the box. Find those opportunities for each other. And I have said this repeatedly, Kelly, and I'm going to say it again, that we are exiting a competitive economy. As the horizon expands and the globe connects more, and while so many people condemn COVID, thanks to COVID that we have come closer and become more flexible. We can work as efficiently from home or anywhere as we used to do it from the offices. So take the advantage of that. We are a collaborative economy now. Collaborate. Two real estate, because there's enough business out there, two real estate agents do not compete. They don't have to. They can collaborate and still find enough clients for both of them. They share a wealth of knowledge and resources. They help each other. That's how I want us to see each other, not as a competitor, but as a collaborator, as a resource. If we see that and we don't run after small bucks like $50 here for showing or $100 there for whatever little thing, the big bucks are waiting. When we run after small bucks, we, ignore or we let big bucks go because there's an opportunity cost. There's a limited time. If you start using that time for limited opportunity, you lose unlimited opportunities. I mean, there's no unlimited opportunity, but it's a figure of speech. What I'm saying is that you may be missing out on more attractive opportunities because you chose a narrow path. You chose to stay in your comfort zone. You did not learn enough about workforce housing or tiny homes or they call it tiny home revolution. And it's not for no reason that they call it revolution. It in fact is revolutionizing the housing industry. And then there are so many new startups have come. They're printing homes as 3D homes, they're foldable homes, they're boxable homes. There's so many different companies. They've raised tons of money. If you have an idea, find a team, work with other people, get together, evolve your idea. Idea is as good as it is executed. If you think that your idea is very precious and you must hold it to yourself and not share it with others so they don't steal your idea, the news for you is that your idea is already on Google. There are no ideas. It's execution that makes it priceless, Execution. And execution, especially in real estate projects, you need professionals. You need to work with other professionals. So Kelly, why don't you sum it up for us? So in points, as you always do so eloquently, which makes it easier to understand that where should our professionals, friends start, and how can they help more with these new ideas? How can they help their clients?
I think, Dr. Khan, they start by your telling us what we need to do and thinking about it. We only find what we're looking for. If you're not looking to help workforce and provide affordable housing, you're not going to be able to do that. So look for the opportunity to help others by finding homes that they can afford and using these various methods that you have spoken about tonight. You've named so many different ways that we all can reach out and help others. And as you've always said, if we have the right motive behind what we're doing, then they will benefit and it will come back on us as real estate, mortgage, and title professionals. As always, Dr. Khan, you've had so much great information tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Kelly. And I want to invite you all to talk to us anytime, anything we can do for you with all these new concepts, new things that you want to do. There's so many opportunities. The biggest economic engine in our country is housing, and you are part of that. Become a bigger, more significant part of that and help others become a more significant part of that. With that thought, I want to thank you very much. And I want to remind you that we thrive on your feedback, your comments. So please keep helping us become better by giving us your valuable feedback and keep thriving.